Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we're talking about Sound of the Sky. And this was my choice, and I'm sorry. So we had mentioned the genres on it.
Yeah.
That they were
inaccurate. While they were not inaccurate, they were sorely misleading.
Military sci-fi, music, slice of life, drama.
You know, I will say that slice of life does qualify here. I live this life every day. Like it was like putting a mirror.
This is a alternate future, I would say. History?
Post-apocalyptic. Yeah, definitely in the future.
Yeah.
Like far in the future. In probably a different world, because definitely in the future, probably in a different world, only because of the one supernatural portion of this, which was an angel of skeletal remain that you only ever see once.
Well, they flash back to it and they make reference to it
several times, but you only actually get to see it one time.
Yeah.
And a being or a beast of similar makeup does not exist in this world.
So one of the things that they talk about through this is that it's not from this world, that how they describe it, at least at the end, what it is it's an angel that came from heaven to rid the world of the evilness or some other through its destruction type of thing. Is what the other country, which is Rome, said.
Okay, so there are two countries fighting. Here's I'm not a super big language buff, but I got a kind of a problem with this. Every Roman was speaking German, and every Helvetican, is that how we should pronounce that? Helvetican from Helvetica? Helvetian. Okay. So from Helvetian, we're speaking Japanese, but reading in French.
And Helvetian is actually from Sweden. So we have a nice hodgepodge of everything going on there, which is perfect for the end of the world. Okay, I can see some rationale for that now, but it still doesn't make any sense given the limited knowledge I have of geography, because Sweden is not necessarily close at all to Rome or Italy. Well, I mean, and Rome isn't a giant desert either.
Yeah.
So this is takes place in the future. It's God knows what language they were actually supposed to be speaking is Roman for the future, and they were speaking Helvetian in their current time. So yes, everything is accurate to the T for that time frame.
for this anime.
And being
ironic that we're still using very current language specs as far as the written language goes, but nobody could read, which is weird.
Well, they couldn't read Japanese,
which is apparently where this was at because reasons.
Yeah.
So to put it blankly, you got two countries that are at war with each other, and they both have a religion based on this area, this town, if you will. And as an observer, as we are, you can look back and kind of take a little bit from one side, a little bit from the other side, and create the whole story and go, oh, this makes sense. This looks correct. And you get to see underneath the water a submerged, extremely large fossil of something that could be a dragon, could be a demon.
It could be my last night's dinner. We don't know what it could be.
You know, it could be. People do get shorter when there's scarcity of food, so it could be that.
You know,
but it is in the shape. At first, when you take a look at it, it's showing the shape of leathery wings. In the flashbacks, you're seeing feathers. So I'm thinking they might have changed some of the
when
animation.
You first see it, you don't even see leathery wings. What you see is bones without a head.
Yeah, skeletal remains. But the wings that you see there, I thought at least the rocks looked rather leathery to give the image of, oh, there's a demon here. But when you do the flashbacks, the wings have a less leathery, more feathery look to them. And in Helvisa, I'm just going to call it H because I'm going to butcher it anyway. In the H city, they've got a thing where the demon lops their head off, and these fire maidens, which the story is circling around, hold the head to keep it from burning everybody down, and they take turns holding the head. In Rome, the neck of this angel was wounded, and the maidens basically hug this angel's neck to slow the bleeding. And they do this again over the course of the same amount of days in both stories. In the Roman story, in appreciation, the angel of destruction that was sent to wipe out Earth decided he was going to fight for the people instead of against, because they showed compassion to their enemy. In the H city, they chopped off his head and had to hold on to the disembodied head to avoid it from burning down their capital. It benefits both sides of the story. The story benefits whoever's telling it, I would imagine.
Yeah. But the story, honestly, even though it plays a big part on it, it's really not important to the story as a whole, what the anime tries to tell.
It plays a big part of the story in the last 2 episodes.
And that's about it.
It's hardly mentioned any other time.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm spending so much time on it... It's mentioned in the beginning,
and then it's re-mentioned again in the last 2 episodes. So you have 9 episodes just to fill up with all kinds of other crap.
And that's kind of what it felt like. And the reason that I was focusing on this story in the last 2 episodes specifically is nothing really of substance happens until the end. When they say slice of life, they took the most boring slices. They took, if this was bread, they took all heels.
Hey, look, they didn't take all heels. All right. They talked about, talked about moonshining. All right. They had their own distillery so that way they can make their own apple cider booze, and they sold it on the black market because apparently in that specific area, they can't get their paychecks for being in the military, so they get no money. And the only way they can get paid is if they bootleg some alcohol.
Okay. I can see that being totally a thing, that you'd have a
military personnel, just 5 of them in a fort, quote unquote fort, with a defunct, broken down piece of machinery with a couple of guns, and only one of them really trained to shoot, and 2 people there to blow a trumpet,
wake people up and make people go to sleep.
It's how they roll.
Now, the trumpeting in this anime, I will say, that is the only musical aspect of this whole thing. They do Amazing Grace, they do Reveille, and that's about it. Now, you do learn that the trumpeters do have an important job, I guess would be a good way to put it.
They have a very important role. So when they're about to attack, when they need to retreat, or when they make a kill or something like that with their tank, their purpose is to pop out of the tank and blow that trumpet, or if wherever they are, blow that trumpet. A specific tune.
Orders.
Yeah, to relay orders. And now everyone's supposed to be able to hear it and know by the tone that's being played that you either retreat, you advance forward, or that was a kill, or whatever it is. But why you would kill something and then immediately get out and blow your trumpet and go, I killed someone. Well, that's great, but you have 13 other enemies in front of you, bro. Come on.
1,300 at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to sum up episodes 1 through, let's say 7, because 7.5 was, I thought it was going to be a recap. So I was like, maybe I should skip it. And then I started watching. They're not even, this is not a recap. This is a side story. This is not even.
It's the side, what the 7.5 is. It's a side story to the main protagonist. It's a side story for the main protagonist learning that the money, the paycheck she had been getting is from bootlegging. All right.
I believe the exact term was your allowance or your salary paid in cash. The delicious food you've been consuming is all because we sell booze on the black market.
So the main character, her name is Kanata. And then you have...
It was like Katana most of the time.
Yeah. And then you have Rio, Felicia, Kohara, and Noelle. And each of them have their own unique stories, kind of. The only one that doesn't really have a unique story is Kohara, who, for whatever reason, is the bossy, I'm superior to you in every way, I know everything, but I know nothing girl. Noelle is the crazy, smart, insane, intelligent, standard bluish gray hair girl that's very monotone and sleeps a lot and is whatever, like in every other anime.
I thought she had gray hair.
Whatever.
Like, well, to me, it should. I don't know. Maybe
when it comes to like gray or bluish gray or
okay, fair.
Or take your pick and variation of shade of gray, they're all the same. Pretty monotone. They're either really intelligent or super stupid, and they sleep a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what she played up the normal hype for people in that hair color.
Fair.
Kanata, she was young, naive, would follow around people like a hen and would be ignorant and just follow everything straight to the T. And Rio was just like, whatever, I'm badass. We can rock this.
Rio was a damaged soul, I think they're trying to portray. Mm-hmm. They don't really tell you her backstory on why she feels that children should be tied up if they're bad.
Which she does say that. She does say that she feels bad children should be tied up and punished, which is weird, but yeah, whatever.
I can only assume that she was the cause for her elder sister's death. Now, you don't really know she's part of a family that has siblings until, again, the last 2 episodes. It's not relevant, apparently. But yeah, she's indifferent, and then she warms up, and then she goes off and saves the world.
Yeah. Anyways, you were going to say episodes 2 through 7 could be summed up in what way? Full of crap.
I was going to say, let's have a moment of silence to signify what they're worth.
So absolutely nothing. Okay.
So
I can roll with
not
that.
Even a moment of silence. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Or that short amount of silence is what they're worth. Either way, it's if you were to start the anime and watch episode 1 and then probably skip to episode 9, you wouldn't miss much. In my opinion, they're not even self-containing episodes. They're not like a story happened here and that doesn't affect anything else. It's a story happened here that leads to here, that leads to here, that dead ends because it didn't even matter. And somehow, some way you forget that it even happened.
Yeah.
Like the only things that really, like, I feel that they were trying to build a rapport with each and every character, but they spent so little time on each and every character that they failed.
Well, it's not that they spent very little time. The time that they did spend on them was poor. They spent a poor amount of time with them. It was just bad. It was bad writing. It was just bad storytelling. It was just bad. It was so bad.
I was really, really surprised because when I first turned on this anime, it said that it was made by Aniplex, and I perked up. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not going to be bad. I actually had relatively high hopes because Aniplex is not, in my opinion, known for bad writing.
The producers only had 2 producers this time, TV Tokyo and Aniplex. And the studio is A1 Pictures. It was only 12 episodes long, plus the OVA and episode 7.5. Yeah. So, which I guess you can consider part of it.
The most fun I had watching it up until stuff actually started happening in episode 9-10 was episode 7.5. It was a mock battle where you get sprayed with water. And somehow, I think they were already drunk.
Yes.
Because they were acting like it was, the final countdown. If you were shot with water, you'd have a really, truly tearful death, essentially. And
Felicia actually spiked the tea for everyone because one of the sisters came over, and which is a priest, one of the at the church, one of the sisters, a nun, comes over, and they start talking about drinking and some other stuff. And so she's like, I'm trying to make the tea a certain way, and she spikes everyone's tea. And so everyone gets drunk after like several cups of very strong liquor tea. And then
nobody knows. They're like, wow, this is really good. Now, again, I realize this is an anime. I personally dislike apple wine if it's really strong.
Well,
I don't know about you.
It's not an apple wine. It's like an apple brandy is what it is. So it's super strong. Like brandy is not light in flavor. It is strong in flavor. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking or who the writers are trying to fool.
They were knocking it back like a pro.
It's nothing. Well, the nun, she was walking around with a bottle. She's just like on her third bottle. She's like, yeah.
At the end, yeah.
3 liters worth of booze in one night in a couple of hours. Ding.
And these characters are rather petite. So, I mean, you're not looking like you got a lot of body fat to try to absorb and dilute the effects. But it was funny because they got a Gatling gun of water. How that even works, I don't know, because
gravity. It's gravity fed. That's why she had. That's why Katana held the giant trough of water/booze above her head, because it wasn't clear water. It was colored water, and it looked like it was the same booze, but it was gravity fed.
How do you get it to fire?
You sit there and you have this crankshaft like she had, and it just like pumps it out.
Yeah, but it goes straight rather than just side to side. Well, if it's spinning in rotation,
it does it in an arc, so it's not straight technically. It fires in a little arc.
Oh God.
But it doesn't do it at a far distance either. I mean, like, come on. We're talking about people who are like 16 in the military to learn to play music, because apparently that's the only way you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the brass.
Is not a public. Oh, I never actually thought about that.
No, that's what they actually said in there.
Oh.
Yeah, it said the reason why you have to go into the military to learn music is because all the brass was taken for military. So the only way you can get your hands on musical instruments and to actually learn to play, to have an education, is to be in the military.
Huh. That's sad, but understandable.
Yep.
All right, well, there's harps, there's pianos, there's violins, there's wood instrums.
I'm sorry. Are you looking for truth and logic in this? I mean, like,
I'm just saying, like,
we're talking about young ladies in the military, 5 of them, in a fort, with air quotes for the fort.
It's an old school. They're like, we don't know what this building was used for. And I saw 2-A above a door, and I go, oh no. Yep. No. Please don't. And
luckily, the main protagonist says, I believe this is a school, but this is too big to be a school. It's too big. It's like, well, it used to be I would assume it's a community school, and they used to teach people music here, and because they found a music room
with a piano with one string still strumming in a proper note.
Well, who knows if it was in a proper note when she strummed it? She was able to call the chord, because apparently she's good enough to be able to know the keys. And if I may, there are musicians out there who have that kind of hearing, who can tell the note that is playing from the sound.
I agree with that. However, you would have to hear that note before you could do it. So maybe music wasn't completely dead.
Maybe.
For the normal public.
Well, she also is supposed to have some insanely great, magnificent, godly hearing.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with that.
Yeah. Okay. Plot armor. # reasons, I guess,
# just because I can. # why the hell was this even a thing? Like, how did this come into existence?
Okay, so what I will say is I did like the progression from her being absolute trash at the instrument to gradually becoming better and better and better and better and better.
Yes.
To the point of she was able to play flawlessly. And I will say, as far as the music is concerned, again, the last 2 episodes, the music was good. I liked the melodies that were being played, and even though they were relatively short and almost non-significant, I guess insignificant would be a better word to phrase that, they were pleasant, and I really wish there was more of that.
Yeah, they also only had 2 different hymns really playing throughout it, and one mainly was Amazing Grace. I mean, that's the constant one that you constantly were playing.
True, very true. And I liked it. They did a few different versions of Amazing Grace.
They did.
One with a full orchestra, which I thought was kind of awesome. But all of those tags that you told me, other than, Slice of Life, don't apply until the very end. Although,
well, it applies because she was in the military. She was on the train at the beginning. She was with other people. She's like, why did you join? I joined so I could learn music. Well, that's great. Here's some caramel. Thank you, mister.
Here's spoils. Caramel so rare. Now, I do have a question for you. Kind of a thought experiment. Who do you think has the highest body count?
Oh, Felicia.
Of all of your Really? Why?
Well, because she's the only one that's actually... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. The one that technically has the highest body count is Noelle. But the only one that directly has the highest body count directly, all right, is Felicia. And the reason why is... So Noelle, an insanely intelligent individual, able to figure out the technology of old, the old world technology and sciences, brought back biological weapons and took out 2 cities.
3 cities in one night.
3 cities in one night. I apologize. I didn't want to shortchange her. Okay. Let's not shortchange the killer. All right. But it's not because she did it. She only figured it out. The colonel, the guy that was with her, the demon, he's the one that actually went through and implemented it. She thought she was just figuring out some cool stuff. I
should probably point out that the demon's the general's nickname was the demon. We're not referring to the demon. The colonel's nickname was the demon. We're not referring to the demon in the lake.
Right. And Felicia I would believe she has the highest legitimate body count because she's the only one that's actually been to battle. Fair.
No, I just wanted to point out the Noelle, because we hadn't touched on the fact that she essentially unleashed hell on 3 cities and killed everyone there. But I would say a more abstract and rounded moral of this anime was that we're all the same, because one of the fire maidens was captured, let's say, what was it, 2 generations ago? Because she was a grandmother at that time. So one of the fire maidens was captured by the Roman Empire, by Rome. And she fell in love with a Roman, had a kid, and then had a grandkid. And the grandchild came over to look for the angel and to see the angel of stone. And when that Roman was captured by our pretty little troop, she expresses that, well, my grandma used to be a maiden. And then they philosophized. Is that the right way to put it? Philosophize? They say that, hey, we're not so different after all. If one of us can go over there and fall in love with a Roman and have Roman children, and they come over here, I mean, that means that we're kind of interchangeable as a people, not necessarily individually, but if I grew up over there, I would be the same person as I was here, and vice versa. If they grew up over here, there's really no actual difference. And I think that if you were to go and look at it on a grander scale, who's fighting what war? The poor and unfortunate souls who were enlisted into this war really don't want to fight. And that's more to the point. At the very, very end, you find out that Rio, your blue-haired mom of the group, or would you call her the dad of the group? Like, she was more authoritative, I think.
Yeah, I would call her the dad of the group.
Okay. So the dad of the group goes out and goes, there's something only I can do. And she goes out, and apparently she is second in line for royalty in this. Third. Why third?
She's the illegitimate child of the emperor.
The archduke.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so she's the illegitimate child of the archduke. I apologize.
It doesn't matter.
He's the leader.
She's an illegitimate child, and then at the end saves the world by being pawned off to the Roman emperor and being married off to his son. Yay!
She's the third wife. She becomes the third wife of the emperor, of the Roman emperor.
No, she's being married to his son.
Really? I thought it was to be the third wife of his son. So,
well, maybe. Who knows? I mean, I don't remember that. I just remember that she's being married to the emperor's son. I don't think they specified number of wives, but at this point, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. But she just shows up in the middle of a war that our little trumpeter already tried to stop. But the demon colonel was like, screw that. I want war. I want to progress humanity to where it was. And the only way to do that is through war. So he disregards any orders to not attack. And he's like, hey, everyone, listen to me. They're traitors. Go for it. And then I always thought it was kind of weird that their tank, the ladies' tank, was so much better than literally everyone else's.
It's because their tank was the tank of old technology, and they referenced that a couple times. It was even a tank, and there were only 10 of them left in the world. And it was supposedly also one of the ones that was able to attack the demon / angel / headless, whatever it is now thing.
Yeah, that's essentially, they referenced a spider helping the maidens with the demon or angel. The spider portion of that never changed. And when they're done, you're like, yep, that's a spider. Weird how that happened. And this one tank is so kick-ass that it takes out a squadron of other tanks while being shot at almost continuously
and point
not
blank.
any damage. Yeah, point blank, and not taking enough damage to even slow it down. And with such accuracy that their gunner, who for some reason shot at an owl earlier in the anime and fell on her butt because she couldn't fire a gun appropriately, is blasting this tank gun with such accuracy that she's knocking out the other tank legs so as not to harm the people inside.
Yeah, because being that never having been in battle before, everyone knows how to act and react under battle stress immediately, like they're all pros. And being short, one person.
Not only that, let's add all that into the impossibility spectrum. But not only that, it's the first time they've actually even tried to operate this tank, because previously it was in pieces.
Yep. Because that's just how it's supposed to work.
So,
yeah. We could go on. Honestly, we could go on for a long time. This anime has a lot of plot holes. There's a lot in it that I have an issue with. It does not fall into the music genre because it was not that musical other than the couple of trumpet plays.
Maybe.
But that's my viewpoint on that. So on a scale of 0 to 5, sir, how would you rate this?
Ironically enough, I don't think it's going to be my highest rating.
No.
You know?
Are you sure?
Coming out of nowhere, it's not going to be my favorite.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure you loved it.
I mean, I'm seeing a solid 10 out of 5 here.
All right. 10 out of 5.
Yeah. Don't hold me to that. That is not my final answer.
All right.
Honestly, okay, so if I had to sit absent-mindedly, not absent-mindedly, if I had to sit back, I would not recommend this to one of my friends. I would recommend this to a film student. Only be like, this is good anime, this is bad story. Figure out how to avoid the story, but keep the animation. So as a learning prop, I would give this really good marks. Overall, I would say I'm giving this a solid 1.5.
Okay.
Other than learning from it, I don't have much good to say. I
give it a 1, just a flat 1. Animation was good, and that's the only thing I really like. And Amazing Grace holds sentiment to me, and that's why I can't go lower than 1. Okay. But other than that, the story was horrible. It left a lot of loopholes. It had plot armor galore weighing it down. If they shed some of the plot armor, maybe it would have worked, but I honestly wouldn't even recommend it to anyone to watch. I really wouldn't, like, not even as a learning thing. Is like, I would just say this anime has bad story. Bad story. Don't even watch it. That's your lesson for the day, class.
Okay. The last 2 episodes were really good. I wish the entire anime was like that.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just an action junkie.
Maybe. We shall see, because you know what, sir? Next week's choice is yours.
Hells yeah. My choice is Yu Yu Hakusho. Although I would love to review that one day.
That is a long series. I mean, like, we could do it in arcs. That'd be about it. I mean, like, that's a long series.
So my choice for next week, I'm going to go back with my theme of movies, classic movies that I have not seen. And I'm going to go with Howls Moving Castle. What do you think of that?
All right. I'm good with that. It is a movie that I am very familiar with. It's one of my personal favorites.
Oh, good. I've never actually seen it, so I'm hoping.
All right.
You know, there's an anime that I watched as a child. I have no clue what it is, but I'm hoping by going through this with you, I might be able to find it again.
All right. Never know. We shall see, sir. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to reach out to us, give a recommendation yourself, let us know what you thought of The Sound of the Sky, or if you have any thoughts on any of the past ones, any of the future ones, anything at all, reach out to us via email at featuredanimepodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at Those Anime Guys, and also we have a voicemail link in the show notes. And if you also could just share it with a bunch of your friends, and anyone that you feel would get some value out of this or get some entertainment or joy, just don't forget to share it with them, and subscribe to wherever you prefer. Until next time, I'm Jack.
And I'm Rick.
Later.